What would you do if the most dangerous man in London gave you 12 hours to choose between marrying him or losing everything you've ever loved? The champagne glass slipped from Sophia Chen's trembling fingers, shattering against the marble floor of the Belgravia penthouse. She stared at the man before her, Dominic Blackwell, the notorious head of London's most powerful crime family, certain she'd misheard him. "I'm sorry, what did you just say?" Dominic stepped closer, his gray eyes cold as the Thames in winter. "Marry me tonight, Miss Chen, or I will destroy your world." Her heart hammered against her ribs. "You're insane." "Perhaps," he circled her slowly, a predator assessing prey. "But I'm also the man who now owns your father's debts, all 3 million pounds of them." Sophia's blood turned to ice. Her father's gambling problem had been spiraling for months, but 3 million. That was impossible to repay. Her small art gallery barely broke even. "My father's debts have nothing to do with me," she said, lifting her chin with false confidence. Dominic's laugh was devoid of warmth. "They do now. Your father used your gallery as collateral. I hold the deeds, Sophia. May I call you Sophia?" He didn't wait for permission. "You have until midnight. Marry me, or tomorrow morning I'll evict you, shut down the gallery, and ensure your father spends the next decade in a very uncomfortable prison." "Why?" The word burst from her lips. "Why would you want to marry me? You don't even know me." For the first time, something flickered in his expression, something almost vulnerable. Then it vanished. "That's my concern. You have 11 hours and 43 minutes. I suggest you use them wisely." Sophia fled to her gallery, her sanctuary. The converted warehouse in Shoreditch had been her dream, showcasing emerging artists who reminded her that beauty could exist even in darkness. Now it might all disappear. Her best friend and assistant, Marcus, found her sitting among the paintings, mascara streaking her cheeks. "Soph, what happened?" She told him everything. Marcus's face shifted from shock to anger to something resembling fear. "Dominic Blackwell. Sophia, you can't marry him. The man's a criminal. And if I don't, my father goes to prison and I lose everything." Sophia pressed her palms against her eyes. "God, Marcus, how did Dad's gambling get this bad?" "This isn't your fault." Marcus knelt beside her. "But maybe there's another way. We could go to the police." "With what evidence? My word against London's most powerful mobster," she laughed bitterly. "Besides, Dad would still owe the money. The debts are real." Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, 9 hours remaining. "The clock is ticking, Sophia. D." She threw the phone across the room. At 10 p.m., Sophia found herself standing outside Dominic's Mayfair mansion, her heart a war drum in her chest. She hadn't decided what to do, couldn't decide, but she needed answers. The door opened before she could knock. Dominic stood there in a simple black shirt and trousers, looking more human and somehow more dangerous than he had in his suit. "I need to know why," she said. "If you want me to even consider this, you owe me the truth." He studied her for a long moment, then stepped aside. "Come in." The mansion was surprisingly understated, elegant but not ostentatious. He led her to a library lined with first editions and gestured to a leather chair. "My father built an empire on fear," Dominic began, pouring 2 glasses of scotch. "Before he died last year, he arranged marriages for all his children to strengthen alliances. My brother married a Russian oligarch's daughter. My sister married an Italian don's son. And you. I was supposed to marry Valentina Rossi 3 months ago." His jaw tightened. "She was murdered 2 weeks before the wedding, poisoned. A message from a rival family." Sophia's breath caught. "I'm sorry." "Don't be, I barely knew her." He took a long drink. "But her death started a war. The only thing preventing complete chaos is a marriage alliance, any marriage alliance. It doesn't matter who, as long as I fulfill my father's dying command and show strength, not weakness. So I'm just convenient." His eyes met hers, and for the first time she saw the exhaustion there. "You're an innocent, someone with no ties to this world. That's precisely what I need, a wife who won't be targeted like Valentina was." But I will be targeted the moment I marry you. No, his voice was steel. I'll protect you. That's the deal. You give me legitimacy and end this war. I give you freedom from your father's debts and protection from my enemies. It's just a contract, Sophia, paper and signatures. Marriage is more than paper. Not this one. He set down his glass. I'm not asking for love. I'm not even asking for affection. Just your presence at events, your signature on documents, and your silence about my business. In return, you keep your gallery, your father stays free, and you'll have access to more money than you've ever imagined. And what about you? She asked quietly. What do you really get? The vulnerability flashed again in his expression. Peace, he whispered. A chance to end the bloodshed. 23 people have died in 3 months, Sophia. If I don't secure this alliance, that number will double. Sophia left without answering. She drove through London's midnight streets, past the Thames, past the gallery, past everything familiar. Her phone showed dozens of missed calls from her father. She finally answered. Sophia, sweetheart, I heard I'm so sorry. Her father's voice cracked. I never meant for this to happen. I thought I could win it back, I thought. Dad, she pulled over, gripping the steering wheel. Did you know about Blackwell? Silence, then. I knew who held the debts, I didn't know he'd. Sophia, you can't marry him. I'll figure something out. I'll sell the house. The house won't cover even 1/10 of it. Then I'll go to prison. I deserve it. But you deserve a real life, real love, not some forced marriage to a criminal. Tears blurred her vision. What if I could help people by doing this? What if it could stop violence? Darling, that's not your responsibility. Whose is it then? She wiped her eyes. Everyone keeps telling me what I deserve, what I should do, but nobody's asking what I can live with. I can't live with you in prison. I can't live with losing the gallery and all those artists who depend on me. Maybe I can live with this. Sophia. I have to go, Dad. I love you. She hung up and checked the time. 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes. She drove. Sophia burst through the doors of Dominic's mansion at 11:58 p.m., breathless and windswept. He stood in the foyer, looking unsurprised, cutting it close. I have conditions, she said. 2 minutes to midnight. Talk fast. The gallery remains completely under my control. You never interfere with my business or try to use it for yours. Agreed. My father gets help, real help for his gambling addiction. Therapy, support, whatever he needs. Done. And she swallowed hard. This marriage ends in 2 years. After that, we divorce and I walk away free. Debts cleared, no strings attached. Something flickered across his face, disappointment, but he nodded. 2 years, I'll have my lawyers draft the agreement. One more thing. She stepped closer. If you ever lie to me, if you ever put me or my family in danger, the deal is off. I never lie, Sophia, and I protect what's mine. The clock began to chime midnight. Then I guess we should call a registrar, she whispered. Despite the circumstances, Dominic had insisted on doing things properly. They'd applied for a marriage license, waited the required period, and now stood in a small private chapel in Chelsea, surrounded by witnesses who were mostly Dominic's stern-faced associates. Sophia wore a simple cream dress she'd found in a vintage shop, not the white gown she'd once imagined for her wedding day. Marcus stood beside her as her witness, looking ready to fight anyone who came near her. Dominic wore a dark suit that probably cost more than her car. He looked every inch the powerful man he was, except for his hands. Sophia noticed they trembled slightly when he reached for hers. The registrar began the ceremony. Do you, Dominic James Blackwell, take Sophia Chen to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. His voice was steady, but his gray eyes held questions. And do you, Sophia Chen, take Dominic James Blackwell to be your lawfully wedded husband? This was it, the point of no return. She looked at Dominic, really looked at him, and saw not the monster London whispered about, but a man carrying impossible burdens. A man who'd chosen her, of all people, to share them. I do. The registrar smiled. Then by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." Dominic hesitated. This hadn't been part of their agreement, but Sophia found herself stepping closer, going up on her toes, and pressing a soft kiss to his cheek. "For appearance's sake," she whispered. His hand came up to cradle her face, and for a moment the ice in his eyes melted. "Thank you," he murmured so softly only she could hear. "You might have just saved more lives than you know." The reception was held at the Savoy, elegant and surprisingly intimate. Sophia had expected a massive show of power, but Dominic had kept it small, just family and close associates. His sister, Alina, approached Sophia at the Champagne Tower. She was stunning, with the same gray eyes and dark hair as her brother. "You're either very brave or very foolish," Alina said. "I haven't decided which yet." Alina laughed, a genuine sound. "I like you. That's dangerous. I don't like many people." She leaned closer. "My brother's not the monster everyone thinks. He's harder on himself than he is on anyone else, if you give him a chance." "This is a business arrangement," Sophia said quickly. "Of course." Alina's smile was knowing. "That's what I said about my marriage too. Now I can't imagine life without Alessandro. Funny how these things work." Before Sophia could respond, Dominic appeared at her side, his hand settling on the small of her back. The touch sent unexpected warmth through her. "May I have this dance, wife?" The word sounded strange on his lips. Sophia let him lead her to the floor as a string quartet played something soft and haunting. "You arranged music," she said as they began to move. "It's a wedding. There should be music." He pulled her closer. "You're trembling." "So are you." He smiled, actually smiled, and it transformed his face. "I don't dance much. I'm probably stepping on your feet." "You're doing fine." Sophia found herself relaxing slightly. "Your sister said you're not as bad as people think." "Alina's biased. I'm exactly as bad as people think." But his tone was lighter. "Though perhaps not with you, not tonight." "Dominic, what happens now, tomorrow, next week? What's this life actually going to look like?" "Honestly, I don't know." He met her eyes. "I've never done this before, the marriage thing, but we'll figure it out, together. That's the point of partnerships, isn't it?" "I thought this was just a contract." "Maybe it starts that way," he said quietly, "but who knows where it ends?" Sophia stood in her gallery, hanging a new exhibition. The space had expanded into the building next door, courtesy of Dominic's investment, though he'd kept his promise never to interfere with her artistic choices. Their marriage had settled into an unexpected rhythm. Dominic attended her gallery openings. She accompanied him to business dinners, the legitimate ones. They lived in his Belgravia townhouse in separate bedrooms, like cordial roommates who happened to be legally bound. But somewhere along the way, the separate bedrooms had become a choice rather than a necessity. Somewhere along the way, she'd started looking forward to their late-night conversations in the library. Somewhere along the way, his hand at her back had stopped feeling like performance and started feeling like home. The gallery door opened. Dominic entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "Peace offering," he said. "I know I was difficult about the Japanese ink painting exhibit." "You said it was unnecessarily provocative." "It is. It's also brilliant." He handed her a cup. "Your vision was right. It always is." Sophia studied him. 6 months ago, he'd been a stranger threatening her world. Now he was, what? Not quite a friend. Certainly not just a business partner anymore. "The 2-year mark is in 18 months, she said quietly. His expression shuddered. "I'm aware." "And then I'm free to go. That was the deal." "Yes." "Dominic, look at me." He did, and the vulnerability in his eyes nearly undid her. "What if I don't want to go?" she whispered. His coffee cup clattered to the floor, forgotten. "What?" "What if somewhere in the past 6 months, this stopped being about debts and alliances and started being about—" She couldn't finish. He crossed to her in 3 strides, his hands framing her face. "Say it. Please, Sophia, I need to hear you say it." "About us. About this marriage becoming real." It's been real for me since the moment you walked back through my door at midnight, he said fiercely. I told myself it was just a contract, just convenience, but I was lying. I've been in love with you since you demanded conditions at 11:58 p.m., since you kissed my cheek in that chapel, since you made me laugh for the first time in years. Tears spilled down Sophia's cheeks. You said you never lie. I lied about that. He brushed away her tears with his thumbs. I'm lying right now when I pretend I can let you go in 18 months. I'm lying when I sleep in that separate bedroom instead of asking you to stay with me. Then stop lying, she breathed. This kiss was nothing like the chaste peck in the chapel. This was 6 months of tension and longing and slowly built trust erupting into something fierce and desperate and utterly right. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Dominic rested his forehead against hers. Marry me, he whispered. Sophia laughed through her tears. I already did, you idiot. No, the first time was a contract. This time, he pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. Inside was a delicate diamond ring surrounded by sapphires. This time, marry me because you want to, because this is real, because I love you and I hope, you might love me too. She didn't need to think about it. Yes, 1,000 times yes. He slipped the ring onto her finger beside the simple gold band from their first ceremony. We'll do it right this time. Big wedding, white dress, your choice of venue. Your father walking you down the aisle. Everything you dreamed of. I don't need all that, Sophia said, though warmth flooded through her at the thought. I just need you, the real you. You have me, all of me, for as long as you'll keep me. That's a long time, Mr. Blackwell. Good, he murmured against her lips, because forever just became my new minimum. Outside, London's evening lights began to sparkle. Inside the gallery, surrounded by art and beauty and the promise of tomorrow, two people who'd married for all the wrong reasons discovered they'd found all the right ones. Their first wedding had been about survival. This one would be about love. Sometimes the most beautiful things begin in darkness. Sometimes the most unexpected people become our home. And sometimes the marriage that starts as a contract becomes the greatest love story of all.